Hey everyone, welcome to Geekdom Forecast. And it's been a long time since you have seen me in person.
Welcome back.
I want to talk about this one movie which was released recently, and I'm pretty sure you guys know what it is. This is Taika Waititi's second attempt at Thor. Previous one, Thor Ragnarok, was a huge success with the quote-unquote mainstream audience because for a long time not many people could relate much with Thor.
Okay, that's not good.
And Thor Ragnarok really did well. It made a huge amount of money. It was a huge success, such a success that Thor is the only character in the MCU who's got a
fourth solo film, so that's a pretty
neat. That's a pretty neat milestone. But I still feel that the first Thor movie Thor in Infinity War was perhaps the more balanced interpretation of the character within the MCU. I mean, it had the comedic elements from Waititi's Thor, as well as that Shakespearean Viking god from the first two movies. Like I've said, Thor was the only character in the MCU to get a fourth solo movie. I'm pretty sure a certain character can beat him to that with several more solo movies, provided the contractual obligations work out. I genuinely believe that Love and Thunder could have been an amazing movie because, first of all, I loved the trailer for being a pacifist and going through all this existentialism just proved to be a perfect recipe. But I watched the movie.
No.
I love Taika Waititi. Don't get me wrong. I love Hunt for the Wilder People, Jojo Rabbit, and What We Do in the Shadows. In fact, I love Thor Ragnarok as well. Like I had previously mentioned, Love and Thunder had the potential to be one of the best Marvel movies to date. Thor is easily one of the most well-rounded characters in the MCU. Thor going fully existential almost is the Spider-Man 2 route. I was expecting the character in this movie trying to cope up with loss and trying to fully rediscover love to Korg and Jane and Valkyrie. This movie could have perfectly set up two perfect parallels. Thor, who lost it all, is now trying to rediscover life and being more than just the mighty Thor everyone expects him to be. And you have Gore. He lost his people and his daughter. Instead of finding peace, he goes out killing gods and deities thanks to the Necrosword. And you cast the perfect actor for the role, Christian Bale. And he lived long enough to finally play the villain.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
But instead, the movie is just slapstick. There is forced humor everywhere. Characters that had their own arc, had their own special identity, have just turned into quipping caricatures. Sadly, the plot is
overly simplified and severely underdeveloped.
the director, in fact, has said that he's not making a movie which will please the comic book crowd. But that's his perspective. He's an amazing director, he can do what he wants. But the movie just felt like an advertisement for comedy.
and not too really good comedy.
Thor has now transformed into a complete idiot, an imbecile, and a moron. And lots of Thor fans, they will not like this at all, considering the amazing modern Thor comics that most of us are currently reading or have read or yet to read. Jane Foster's Thor is sadly massively underplayed and underutilized. And Gore, the God Butcher, you have the perfect casting. Kristen Bale, and sadly, this did not meet the hype at all. I felt that there could have been potential to do so much more with this character had he been provided with better material. Bale would have definitely knocked it out of the park. Disney will never allow Marvel Studios to go dark, bloody, gory, and fully violent. And personally, I'm not even asking that.
I believe you.
The best we got so far were the Illuminati deaths in Multiverse of Madness. Oh god! Now, I'm not saying the violence should be on the level of, let's say, The Boys,
You have 5 minutes to make your opening statement.
or that the story needs to be dark, gritty, morbid, and just hopeless so that, just to be cool. All I'm saying is this: give more breathing time for your new characters and even your old characters. Let them sink into the movie. Let the audience care for them. Don't just give us token scenes for the heck of it and ask us to gravitate towards them. I feel that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Thor Love and Thunder had one common problem, that they had to pander to the demands of the studio. But now, this is just speculation from my end, that's all. Multiverse of Madness was helmed by the legendary Sam Raimi. He did what he could with the movie, but I'm not sure if he had that much of a voice when it came to the script or the story. Other than just being a multiverse movie, it could have been a movie about loss or responsibility of being a hero and the sacrifices involved. And we got only a glimpse of that, like just a flirtation, that's all. Now, I'm not really going to talk about the CGI in the film in detail, but many VFX artists have come forward and said that Marvel has always been a difficult customer with their unrealistic deadlines. Yes, and this can be clearly be seen in most of the movies and series. And it's sad because you're Marvel Studios. You're one of the biggest hit-making machines ever in the history of the film industry, in the history of blockbusters. Basically, don't rush things, Marvel.
Just calm down.
Lately, other than Spider-Man No Way Home and Ms. Marvel and Shang-Chi, I'm not too happy with the material which has been coming out from Marvel Studios. I hope they can turn things around. Back in the day, every comic book movie felt like an event. An event for old fans, for new fans, curious ones who want to try these superhero flicks out, and maybe they can venture into the world of comic books.
An old shirt. It's not one of the new ones. We got this years ago, so we're old Batman fans.
Batmania this summer. And everyone wants to see this movie.
But it's just oversaturation now. I don't want Marvel Studios to release a movie or a series just for the heck of it, just to make sure that the Disney Plus Hotstar platform is still running, or that they need to constantly churn out these movies because that's profit.
He's out of line, but he's right.
I personally believe that there needs to be a purpose behind these movies, and they shouldn't just be a feel-good popcorn movie. Even a bad movie, a bad superhero movie does have some good moments whatsoever.
No doubt.
In the end, all I want to say is this. I think they should now concentrate more on quality rather than quantity.